Can you share what situation you were in when this happened?
Absolutely. So, in my defense, I was a fairly new agent, and I was excited. I had a new listing, and it was in the upper price range. And I was home for lunch, and I got a call on my cell phone from what I thought was a woman, and she asked to see my new condo listing on Greystone Place, and I was super excited, and I said, "Sure, I'll meet you there." So that was when it first. That's the first initial happening.
At what point did you feel uncomfortable or realize something wasn't right?
Right. So I like to refer to this day as the one that Nancy Strunk saved my life, actually. So I was literally on my way to show the condo, and right before I got to it, I received a phone call from Nancy, and she said, "Davonne, I just saw you drive by. Are you showing your listing on Greystone?" And I said, "I am. How did you know?" And she said, "All right, I want you to go there, and I want you to pull in the driveway when you meet the person, and do not go in until I get there. Just tell them that you are expecting an agent that wanted to preview your listing." I said, "Okay." And so I went to the listing, and there was not a woman but a man waiting for me. And so I got out of the car and introduced myself. And right then, Nancy pulled in. She happened to be nearby. And he said, what is she doing here? And I knew we were in trouble. And I said, "Oh, she's previewing my listing today." So we actually went in, showed the property. We did not walk through it with him. We stayed by the front door. And he, after that, he left after he looked at it. He didn't seem real interested in the property. And at that point, we were both feeling very uncomfortable. I was pretty frightened at that point.
Were there any warning signs you noticed beforehand?
There actually were no warning signs. I felt a false sense of security because I thought it was a woman, and it was a higher priced house listing. So I falsely assumed things were fine.
Did you at that point have any tools or training to handle that situation?
You know, I did not. And this was before our tool, Forewarn. I encourage everybody to use that. I also say, if you ever feel any sense of uncomfortableness, just don't go. You can cancel the
Trust your
appointment.
gut.
It's not worth your life.
Right.
And always let people know where you're going if you're meeting a stranger, a new client that you don't know.
Mm-hmm. So after the experience, those are some of the steps that you took as far as changing how you might do things. Do you have advice for other realtors?
Yes, so obviously, as I mentioned before, the Forewarn tool is amazing. That has already helped me in many situations. It's just a tool that you cannot afford, to ignore. You've got to use that and have things in place where you have another buddy. You let them know where you're going. Or if you're even feeling uncomfortable, I've actually taken someone with me to the showing, and that's helped. So yeah, those things are, and I think since that time, because this has been probably over 15 years ago, our offices have put training in place, and
That's great.
we've
I
all
wondered about
yes,
that.
and we've all addressed
So offices tend to have a safety policy as well.
yes.
Okay, great. That was pretty much my last question because you covered the looking back. What's the biggest lesson you took away from the experience? I mean, you took away,
Yes.
to trust your gut,
Yes.
to use
Yes.
these safety.
Ask more questions. Of course, obviously, now I try not to, meet a client before meeting them at the office or a coffee shop. So I know, there's been a lot of things since then that I've become smarter about. And, just to let everyone know about that particular situation, because I had the cell phone number of the person, we were able to call the police. and they did some investigation, and I was horrified to learn that they said that person was definitely there to do me harm, and that he was a sexual predator. They went to his house. He had very bad things at his house. So I'm just, again, thankful to Nancy Strunk that, you know, that happened. You know, God protected me. But since then,
absolutely.
you know, I've learned how to handle these situations better now that
Gosh,
I have some
so
more experience.
scary.
So yes, very scary. So I want to share my story with people, you know, because you can get that false sense of security, and think, you know, oh, this is no big deal. I'm just go run and show a house. Don't ever rush through that. Take your time and do the right steps.
That's great.